today we have Sean O'Brien, international wakeboard star, coach currently touring South Africa and hosting a number of national travelling seasons. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We posted out a list of things for our readers to do and getting some questions to ask you, and we've capsized it today, and the guys basically asked a few. Now you have to remember that some of these questions come from pros, they come from guys that never wakeboarded before, and they also come from amateurs.
Yeah.
So I've put this one question first. It says, when you go and wakeboard, what actually goes on in your head?
Nothing.
Is that absolutely nothing, or do you sing a song?
No, when I ride, I just try to relax. If I start thinking about wakeboarding or think about what I'm doing, start overanalyzing stuff, my wakeboarding tends to fall apart. So I try to go out and I'll either have a song in my head, or I'll just let whatever happen, and just try to ride and have fun.
Now, the next question comes from probably one of our youngest readers. He asked, what are you afraid of when you actually step on the water and you wakeboard?
Yeah, I'm not really afraid of that much. I've had a couple bad crashes in the past, and it make you a little more hesitant, but for the most part I've taken almost every crash you can have, and I've walked away from most of them, except for a switch backside 3 and snapped my leg. So, besides that, they've all been pretty good.
Now, that specific accident you're talking about, did it happen behind a boat or on a cable?
No, I snapped my femur when I was riding behind a boat when I was 15.
And quickly just explain to us how that happened.
So I was out riding with my dad, and it was kind of a choppy day, and just decided I wanted to play around and try a new trick. And first time I tried the switchback 3, it felt good, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna try it again. And then the second time I grabbed it, like, the tail of the board caught the wake, and it spun, and my body didn't spin. So I snapped my femur, my mid shaft, and I didn't realize it until my left ankle came up and hit me in the right shoulder. So it was awesome.
Yes, okay, that's quite hectic. I actually want to jump from that question to the next one. Is what is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you while wakeboarding?
The funniest thing that's ever happened while wakeboarding? Let's see, well, it wasn't me wakeboarding. I actually got to witness one of my friends wakeboarding in a speed, oh, actually, sorry, wow. Okay, so the funniest thing that's happened to me behind a boat was we decided to have a Halloween costume contest. And we all went out and went wakeboarding in our costumes. And I went out and I had a costume on that actually had a fan in it, and it blew it up, and it looked like I was riding an ostrich. So I was strapped into bindings and going, like, there's a big ostrich head up front, and we're just out riding and playing around and doing some tricks. But my business partner decided he was going out as a soccer player, and he goes out and he had like a soccer ball with him, and then next thing you know, he's on a wake skate and he's taking off all his clothes and he strips down into his Speedo, so it became a little soccer stripper, I guess, and did a little dance behind the boat, and unfortunately they voted that he lost, but it was pretty awesome.
Due to that, I guess. Tell me, when it comes to tricks like the 900, how much commitment or training or prep does it take to land something like that?
There's a lot of prep that's involved when it comes to doing the bigger tricks, just because there's a lot that you've got to work up to in order to get to that point. So if you want to go for a 9, then you've got to be able to do 7s before. And before that you got to do 5s, you got to do 3s, you got to do 180s. So it takes a while to get to that point. But once you're there, it's just a commitment thing. It's just deciding that you're going to go out and you're going to take the crashes, and you're going to get beaten up a little bit, but that's the way it goes.
But now, when it comes to obviously preparing for something like that, it takes obviously a number of years getting there. How many years would you say is the average wakeboarder that's that good does it take to get to that?
Oh man, I don't know what the average would be. There's so much variation, I guess, with the kids that are riding now, and I don't know how long some of them have been riding. Like Harley Clifford has been riding for a while, but he's only 16, 17, and the kid's on top right now. And I'm 27, I'll be 28 next month, and I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. He's gonna take it. So yes, it's a good ride.
Now, here's a question from someone that wants to start wakeboarding. Say, what will be the startup cost for someone if you wanted to start?
A boat.
That's quite an expensive start.
Congratulations, you have the most expensive sport in the world. Yeah, your entry fee into wakeboarding is a wakeboard boat, which is expensive. But that's not really true. The entry fee, I mean, in order to get into the sport, we're starting to develop cable systems. And you've got cable systems that are all over the world. And for the most part, you can go to the cable parks, you can rent a board, and you can have somebody teach you how to do it. And that will probably cost, in the States, it'll cost you $40 maybe.
Okay.
$40 for an hour.
Okay, well that's, I mean, obviously that's the best place to start, and then you move on to your boats.
Yeah.
But if someone gets to the cable, he's being able to get onto the board and wakeboard, and he wants to book a session with someone like you when you travel through South Africa, is that possible?
Yeah.
How does he do that?
As far as like getting a coach to come out and teach them?
Yeah.
Well, you can work with the O'Brien guys here, and you know, we're traveling around, and I think all the coaching that we're doing is for free. But I mean, there's coaches all over the world. There's probably coaches here, and you just figure out who your local coach is, and you know, just book sessions with them. Half the time they already have gear, so you can go out and ride their boat, ride on their gear, and it's just whatever their rate is. For my rate in Orlando, it's $60 for a half hour.
Okay.
So.
And if you've been traveling South Africa now, training with the O'Brien team, how's that been for you?
It's been great. I've had a great time since I've been here. I think it's been about almost a week. And we've been busy every day, been on the water, just playing around. Fortunately, we haven't had the greatest weather in the world, but you know, it's getting better. Today's gorgeous out. So.
It's great. So, is this the first time you're in South Africa?
Yes, first time in South Africa.
And when you came to South Africa, do you expect to see any lions on the
You know, I was expecting to be attacked by now by a crocodile, actually. That was the big thing. No, I figured, you know, we're probably in safe places for the most part. People won't wakeboard if there's dangerous areas. So.
Getting back to competing internationally, if the guys want to compete internationally, what kind of tricks would they have to be able to land? Competitive.
Well, you can compete internationally on a whole bunch of different levels. If you want to compete internationally on a pro level, for the most part, you have to be consistent with 720s. Let's see, a whole bunch of mob tricks, which are, you know, flips with 360s, and they get really technical. So.
And the toe side nose grab osmosis 720. Just tell us a bit more about that trick.
That trick was kind of a fluke. I was out running a clinic in Louisiana, and I was just playing around, and at the end of the day, I was riding, and I said, "All right, guys, you know, is there anything that you want me to try? Like, I've already gone through every trick that I can do. Like, I just had a really good set." And they called out a trick, and it was a heel side osmosis 5, which I hadn't done behind the boat in a while, and I was like, whatever, you know, try it. So, got up, threw the trick, and I landed it first time. And when I landed it, I was like, that'd be really cool if you could do it toe side, but instead just take it to a 7. So, cut out, just set up, went for it, and the handle was pretty close. So I was like, all right, cool, we'll try it a couple more times. And I mean, the trick gets really difficult because you got to reach for it. You find it in the middle of the air, and I wanted to do it where I was grabbing the board all the way through. So there's a whole lot of different things going on in the trick. So couldn't get it that day. Got back to Orlando and probably tried 10 days straight. Probably riding twice a day, 10 attempts each time I went out. And so that's a lot of rides. And all my friends were really pissed because all I was doing was going out and falling and falling and falling. But it finally came together one set and went out and threw the trick and just saw it in midair, grabbed onto the handle, just pulled it right in my back and got ready for the landing, and it worked. So.
Yes, that's pretty amazing. Now, for the guy that doesn't understand wakeboarding that well, how does it work when it gets to naming a trick?
Well, for the most part, a lot of the tricks have been named. All you can do is you can add on to it. You can do different grab variations. You know, if you add a 180 to it, usually they just add on whatever that 180 is. They don't call it a new funny name, because that's the majority of the wakeboard tricks. We've got really bad names for tricks, and that's just the way it goes. I don't know why, but you know.
And you mentioned that you've been traveling quite a lot. I mean, last year you've been in 12 different countries. 2011 lying ahead. are there any specific countries you're looking at going to? Do you have scheduled?
For this upcoming year, I actually changed my plans for my travel. I got engaged about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go back home and be with my fiance for a bit. But I'm still going to be on the road. Planning to go back to Europe next year. I guess we'll probably be in Belgium, Luxembourg. Some people contacted me from Switzerland, and might go to Italy as well. So, and then a whole bunch of people want me up in Canada. So between those places, that's going to be the majority of it. If some more people contact me and want to book, then we can figure that out.
Congratulations on getting engaged. That's great news. What would you say about South African athletes when it comes to wakeboarding is unique to any other country that you've been to?
It's unique. I'd say the South African athletes are pretty laid back. They're fun. Like the guys in the O'Brien team have been awesome. Like we just hang out on the boat, joke around, and just have a good time. So it's not really intense. But once they get out of the water, they're willing to go push themselves.
A lot of guys will be looking at this video thinking, I'd actually want to start wakeboarding, and ask the question, when will you be back in South Africa again? Do you have any plans of coming back to South Africa?
I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to come back. So we just have to talk to the right people and see if we can get it set up. And maybe next year, who knows?
All right, great. And can they speak to O'Brien South Africa, or do you have a website?
Yeah, of course they can speak with the O'Brien distributors here in South Africa.
Great. Sean, thanks for making time for us.
Thanks,
appreciate it, and good luck for the rest of your trip in South Africa.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And your sessions and what lies ahead for you in 2011.
Well, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, sir.